Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to You Not Lost. I am Stylosa, and I think it is about time we spoke about the whole Overwatch leak ecosystem, because it is very interesting. And also, there are a couple of different ways of looking at this. There are three ways, in my mind, we can look at all of these leaks that apparently happen all the time with Overwatch. Number one, these are actual leaks, so there is some sort of disgruntled employee at Blizzard who wants to leak all of this information because stuff you Blizzard, we don't care about all your plans, we're going to release this to the public and people need to know. Number two, they are fake because people want attention, which is, you know, a completely viable explanation. There are a lot of people out there who will do crazy things, like, and let's be honest, it's pretty easy as well to sit down and come up with a post and stick it somewhere and go, hey, look at this, I'm so-and-so from Blizzard, and yes, this is a throwaway account, and yes, I'm on 4chan, and oh yes, this is going to happen, and then you put it out there, hoping to try and get some sort of coverage, and I'm sure that it has happened in the past. And then the last way of looking at this is these are all planned by Blizzard in some sort of degree, because it is, it's kind of covert viral marketing, because they know it will set the community on fire. They know people like me will make videos on it. They know there will be very popular posts all over the internet about this kind of stuff. So, could you say that they are doing it on purpose? Well, let's just look at what's happened with the leaks. The very first kind of solid leak we ever had with Overwatch concerning new heroes and events was Sombra. But if you remember, there was a Sombra post, which was a screenshot of an internal Blizzard sort of content management system for one of their websites, and it clearly showed Sombra. That was the very first time we'd ever seen Sombra. I remember looking at that and thinking, that can't be fake. Like, if that is fake, that is an amazing fake, because it looks exactly like an Overwatch character would look. It's the same sort of art style. It looks fantastically designed, and I still think Sombra is honestly one of the best looking characters in the game. And it just completely ridiculous. I was like, wow, that is awesome. That was a bona fide leak, or was it a ploy by Blizzard to just sort of throw it out there so people go crazy? I don't think that one was, because if you think of the way they looked at the launch of Sombra, or the way they did the launch of Sombra with the whole like ARG fiasco which went on for too long, they were really hyping up to a Sombra launch at BlizzCon. Before all of that though, suddenly a leak just comes out sort of midway through. Yeah, I don't think that was intended. I think that really was somebody who probably was on the team and probably got a bit pissed off, well, maybe not on the actual development team, but you've got to remember Blizzard is a massive company, so it has a lot of different departments. Somebody who was involved in, you know, testing out the game or whatever. Maybe they just got kind of bored with the ARG. Maybe they didn't agree with the way it was going, so thought, oh, you know what, I'm just going to put this information out there to satisfy everybody's needs because this is going on for too long. That could have been a completely feasible explanation for all of that, and maybe that happened. But then we fast forward a little bit, and then we go to the 4chan post, the now very infamous and very famous 4chan post. And so now we go to this. This is now the very infamous 4chan post, which contains a ton of information directly from Team 4. Now, Team 4 is the internal Blizzard name for the Overwatch team. All the games have got different team names. So yes, Team 4, etc, etc. Put a bit of that in the title, because then it gives you a bit of validity, because people who maybe don't know that will think, what does he mean, Team 4? Oh, he must be from the inside of Blizzard. And actually, this person, well, it seems like they were, because if you look at the leaks, Lunar New Year, right? They said we're going to get a Lunar New Year event, and they said they're going to be an amazing skin for May, and basically told us what the skin would be. That was correct. Lunar New Year event, correct. Then they said there's a new origin story for May, which is coming up next, possibly a cinematic. Well, we haven't seen that yet, so maybe that's still in development. If that does happen next, then that just gives this even more validity. However, this is the crazy thing, Ankara. This came out of absolutely nowhere, telling us that Doomfist is not the next hero, because remember, at the time, Doomfist was the major news. It was like, Doomfist has to be the next hero. What's going on? Doomfist, Doomfist, Doomfist. And then he just comes out of nowhere and says, oh no, actually, it's codenamed Ankara, and it's an anchor tank. It's a female omnic quadruped, and they're calling it Ankara internally, because it's an anchor tank like Reinhardt. And then if you fast forward, you go to the actual launch of Orisa.
The term that we would use on the development team was we'd call him an anchor tank. And what we mean by that is that Reinhardt almost anchors the entire team. The team, with a properly positioned Reinhardt, the team builds and positions around Reinhardt. Because he doesn't have a lot of mobility abilities, and because he has that protective barrier in front of him, you sort of know where to position yourself and when the team is going to engage or disengage based upon what Reinhardt is doing. So we like this idea of what we kept calling an anchor tank. And we felt like players needed more options in that sort of anchor tank role.
The developer commentary on this hero, where you have Jeff sitting there going, she is an anchor tank. That's what we see her as, an anchor tank. Now, admittedly, Orisa probably isn't that much of an anchor tank. She needs a lot of more work, we think, to make her a bit more viable. But that just tells you that, yes, this person must have had access to internal Blizzard teams, or must have been part of the teams, because he knew the code words that they were using to describe this hero. The internal word was anchor tank, so Anchorer kind of makes sense. You know, you wouldn't just call it anchor tank, would you? You'd say, oh yeah, Anchorer, we're working on Anchorer today. We're going to do this for Anchorer, we're looking at Anchorer. So that gives this way more validity. So basically, at this point, this post is pretty much confirmed to be a solid leak. And then it just simply says, and Doomfist is going to be a black guy, which, well, okay, whatever. So that was pretty much a bona fide leak. We know that to be true. But then we've got loads of other leaks that started coming out. So there was the one I covered recently with all of the stuff about the new heroes, potentially, which again claims to be from somebody else who is a Q&A tester from Blizzard, which these may be true or they may not be true. They seem a little bit, I mean, I even say in the video, look guys, and I think I just slapped my microphone again. I'm very sorry for that. I waved my hands around like a crazy person, bashing my microphone on. I think I even said in that video where I was like, look, this, take it all with a pinch of salt, because these are not, you know, this doesn't really look that solid. We don't really have any evidence for all of this stuff. All we know is that, yeah, a lot of this stuff could have kind of been, let's say, made up off the back of information that's already available out there to the public. So, like I said, it's not really that difficult if you're into Overwatch and you follow Overwatch religiously to come up with some pretty convincing leaks and then claim that you're somebody from Blizzard. So, I think in the case of the Sombra leak and in the case of the 4chan leak about the May cinematic, which we haven't seen just yet, but about Anchorer and about the Lunar event, that was actually a leak, or at least in my book, those are the only real solid leaks we've had so far. Now, of course, the one I covered previously with the recent one about the new heroes, about what was his name? Was it Ivor? I forgot his name. Ivor, and Bria. Those heroes, if they come out, then of course, then that gives that validity, and we know that that source can then be trusted. But the problem with all this stuff is these sources are old. We don't know who they are. These are throwaway accounts. These are not people, you know, who are like, you can follow them on the internet and go, oh, hey, give me more information, because certain things will happen. You know, you'll be taken to literally court. Legal action will be taken against you if you're leaking company secrets, because you have to remember how much money Blizzard spend on marketing and advertising, yeah? Which is the other point to this whole argument, is if they're spending loads of money on this, and then somebody just leaks it and ruins their marketing, well, that's a problem. Yes, when people like me cover it, you could say, well, Sty, surely you're helping them do that. Well, no, at that point, it's out of Blizzard's control. They failed to control it, so they need to do a better job of doing that. But this is the other thing, isn't it? This is the thing about leaking stuff for views and leaking stuff for marketing, because if they do that, they know it's going to drum up a massive load of interest in the community. So how do we not know that this post wasn't part, you know, the one of 4chan and the other posts that we've seen were not part of some sort of greater plan that is some sort of covert marketing division at Blizzard? Like, all of this might sound ridiculous and like I've got a tinfoil hat sitting on my head, but honestly, you know, maybe it's true. It could be a ridiculous conspiracy theory, but lots of stuff go on the internet, especially when it comes down to marketing and all of that stuff, and when people want to go viral and all of that crap. So who knows? Anyway, let's talk about fakes and end the video on this, because there was a post on Reddit. Now, this post made me laugh. Actually, some of the comments on this were dead funny. So somebody linked me to this over Twitter, and they were like, Sty, have you seen this? And I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, what is this? And I'm reading it and I'm like, this is crap. Like, this is not real. I can't believe this to be real. And then some of the posts were like, ladies and gentlemen, Stylosa here, and I've got a new leak for you. But no, Stylosa doesn't work like that. He only covers it if he thinks it could be potentially a leak, and it's something we could look back on in the future and go, oh yeah, that guy was right. I think that's really fun to do. Anyway, there was this massive post, and it contains, honestly, a load of questionable information. There's things like this. There is a map coming. There's going to be 3 maps, so this person says, right? And the 3rd map is going to be for a new game mode, which is going to be called Escort War, but they might call it Dual Escort. Okay, so when I read something like that, I'm like, right, so they're going to introduce, like, this is what I think straight away. They're going to introduce a new game mode, and this new game mode will have 1 map, and it will be presumably in competitive with just 1 map. I don't think so, because it would take forever for that game to show up in the actual bloody matchmaker, so that to me seems rather strange. If they were going to introduce a new game mode, they would have multiple new maps for it, so that seems really weird, right? Moving on, there are parts of this post as well which are, quite frankly, poor English. Now, this person claiming to be a Q&A tester for Blizzard, I mean, you'd think they could actually speak English properly. This person, well, kind of can't. I'll read this little section out to you guys. There is also a major change to Mercy's ultimate ability. This change will hit PTR along with Doomfist before it's officially released. Her ability can now be used in two ways. You can either revive your teammates or revive yourself. So I'm reading that and I'm like, right, okay, okay. We felt this would be an interested, okay? Although we're a little afraid it's going to be overpowered, okay? That it kind of reads like a child wrote it, you know what I mean? We've tested this quite a lot and I personally don't see a lot of issues, but there were moments where the team didn't really stood a chance. That's not English. So we'll see how it's received in PTR. You know, so you see stuff like that and it's like, right, this, if somebody wanted to give you an actual solid leak, all of the leaks that have been proved to have been true so far have been very concise. They haven't been waffling posts which just talk crap and also with poor English and make wild claims like Mercy's ultimate is going to be changed into a dual ultimate where she can res herself and do other stuff, or res the team, which I find honestly quite unbelievable. Now, of course, all of this stuff is, you have to take it all with a pinch of salt until it's proven true. Imagine if we look back and actually there is a PTR update and Mercy can suddenly res herself. Imagine how silly I will look. Imagine how silly other people will look who discounted this guy's, you know, thoughts. But the thing is, there is also one very final thing I guess we could talk about. People could produce fake leaks that turn out to be true. That's completely something you could do. You know, you could say, oh yeah, Mercy is going to get a res. Mercy is going to get a dual ultimate, she can res herself or res the team. And then suddenly she gets it, and then you can sit there going, well, I told you so. But it could have been a complete fluke. I've predicted things which would happen in this game quite a few times, and it's come out to actually happen. I'm not an internal member of Blizzard. I don't know what the hell is going on at Blizzard, but it's just because I'm into Overwatch and I cover Overwatch. So then it's very easy to make certain predictions and say, oh, well, this must be this and that must be that. And that probably will lead to this. And that's where we sort of come full circle with this whole video. I want you guys to go into the comments below and let me know if you think these leaks are either real, are fake, or are some sort of planned advertising method by Blizzard. And honestly, I think this is just going to continue because Overwatch has to have been one of the biggest games for this sort of leak hype. And I'm pretty sure Blizzard know that, and I'm pretty sure they do enjoy the added traffic it gets their game. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and also you can join the Discord server, which is discord.gg/UnitLost. It is probably one of the biggest Overwatch Discords there is. I think we've got nearly 10,000 members, or we're very close to it. So join the server, and let's go over 10k. It'll be beautiful. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.